Getting dealt premiums here. There's no better time on the final table. I pick up queens on the button. I raise it up to 110,000. The small blind and big blind both make the call, and they definitely both have chips to play for. Small blind has about 2 million. The big blind has 1.3 million. We're off to a flop, which everybody, I just want you guys to guess the best flop you can ask for with pocket queens. It comes queen 8-8, 2 spades. Holy crap. Action checks to me, and okay, I flopped the nuts basically behind quads, so I bet really small. I decided to go for a 60,000 chip bet, but music to my ears. It's not like this tournament has gone my way every single time, right? The small blind check raises to 250,000. The big blind folds, and oh, this is what dreams are made of, right? Easy spot here to make the call. Not going to do anything else. If he's bluffing, then, I want him to keep bluffing, and I have the nuts. So I make the call, and we're off to see a turn, which is the 10 of diamonds. He decides to lead out on this card for 275,000. I'll be honest here, I really wished he would have bet a lot bigger, as there's a lot of chips to play for. But look, I'm not going to complain. He's happy to commit more chips in the middle when I have a full house. I make the call again and see the river 8. Oh my god. This could be an absolute disaster or an absolute cooler. He decides to bet again for 325,000, and I think about it for a while here. If I somehow got one outed for quads at this final table, that would be simply disastrous. This player has about 1.3 million behind, and easily I could jam because I have queens full, or I could also raise small. My read here live is that this player was certainly not one to check raise on the final table as a bluff, especially betting 3 streets, so I don't really know what he's check raising with on the flop here when I have all the queens accounted for. So I decided to go for a small raise here. Instead of putting him all in, I go for a 1 million raise, thinking that if it ever has to come down to it and he commits his entire stack, I could fold, although not likely, I'll be very honest, but I go for 1 million, he thinks for a while, and after like 30 seconds of thinking, I know I'm good because quads would have just gone all in, or any better hand obviously just commits their stack. Ultimately, he ends up making the call with queen jack and ship another monster pot my way. I have over 5 million in chips in my stack now after this one, and what a perfect setup for him to hit the case queen on this board. What a dream. Starting off the final table action, I pick up pocket 8s in the hijack. There's a +1 open to 13,000, and here, happy to make the call. Everyone else folds. Let's go to a flop heads up. The flop comes king 8-6 rainbow. Obviously an amazing flop, but it's as dry as it gets. He decides to continuation bet 10,000. Here, playing in position, don't think I can raise because it's hard to find many bluffs on this board, so I decide on just making the call and seeing what happens. The turn comes the king of hearts. Boating up, the board is paired. Brings that back to a flush draw, and he once again bets out 25,000. And again, do I have any bluffs here when this king is so good for him? I'm not sure, and happy to just make the call for now. Don't think I need to raise, as like I said on the flop, don't have many bluffs, and also I just don't know what he can call besides having a king. So let's just hope to see a brick river or whatever. We obviously essentially have the nuts here. I make the call, and we're off to a river, which is the queen of diamonds. Not the best one in the world, as he certainly can have king queen or pocket queens as played, but surprisingly, he decides to go for a check. Wow. Very weird line. Obviously have the best part of my range here with a full house. And what should I do? Should I bet large? Should I bet small? I think when I bet large here, it seems to scare away a lot of bluff catchers. Like, can't really get much value against hands like pocket jacks, tens, or even a queen if I size up really large. So I decided on a smaller sizing to 22,000, and he thinks about this spot for a while. And after his decision, he does the thing that I think I hate the most, which is a check raise to 78,000. Oh god. I take my time here and think this out because this is obviously a really weird spot with the full house. Obviously I have a very strong hand, but I don't want to give away a bunch of chips early on at this final table. I'm thinking that he's never taking a line like this with trip kings. think trip kings is just so strong to bet all 3 streets, and check raising here just seems like a huge overplay. I'm thinking in my mind that he has to have a boat, and it's a tricky spot. Facing this raise here, it's only 50,000 more to call, and considering the size of the pot, I'm getting 4-1. Like, no way I'm ever folding here, obviously, with the full house, but I certainly am uncomfortable at the spot, as it's hard to find hands that I actually beat. After a long time, I just end up making the call because I can't fold, and he surprisingly shows pocket 6s. Wow, definitely could have gotten stacks in on the flop or turn here, but I'm still happy to chip up in a huge way. Didn't get max value, but what a huge cooler set over set.